Welcome to the Going North podcast, where you will be informed, encouraged, and empowered to embrace your dreams and advance in life through authorship. I'm your host, best-selling author of the book Stay the Course and certified leadership trainer, Don Brightman. Be sure to check out the goods and services from every guest, as well as the host himself, yours truly. Now let the fun begin. And today on the highlight reel builder for authors known as the Going North podcast, we got another super special, awesome human for you today, my friends. My goodness, got to thank my good buddy all the way back from, my goodness, episode, I think that was 88, my man Gerald Dubose, the chieftain of the NWO, the New Wealth Authority, y'all. That's right, because he hooked me up with this one heck of a guest right here, a guest who finally decided to step into the business of immortality, because this gentleman right here has been writing short stories and poems since the 7th grade. You heard that right, folks, since the lucky 7th grade, and has not tried to get anything published before, but now my man's 55 and is a father of 3, baby, and he finally joined the business of immortality with his first wonderful book called Little Man's Big Day. So let's give it up for the one, the only, LL Book J himself, Lonnie Lesane. How you doing today, Lonnie?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, Don.
Yes, indeed. I was reading your bio. I'm like, wait, LL. Oh, man. All right, Book J it is.
The first. I'm older than him. I'm the first LL.
There you go. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, my man became a book boomer. That's right. Because with WW1, we had the baby boomer era. After the World War was over with COVID, we had the book boom era where everybody was trapped at home and they're like, man, all right, let me write a book here. And now you get to join the party. Yeah, man. So how does it feel finally getting your name on paper with your first ever book?
It feels strange. I wrote this a while ago. It just feels unreal. I just thought it was something that you put out there and hope. And my hope is coming true. It feels different. It feels a lot different.
Ah, there you go. Feels different indeed. Probably felt like a world champion who finally got his first run at the world title belt. Finally got in your hands. It's like, yes, it's me. My name's on the bottom. I'm a published author.
Yeah, that I realized that once people started saying it, I was just glad to get it published. I didn't think of just having my name on it. It was other people that said it to me. Friends that didn't know I write, that've known me since most of my life. But when they saw it, they hyped it up to me, which made me feel some kind of way.
Heck yeah, man, because you're doing it, man. Checked it today. It's got about a good 13 reviews on Amazon, and it's even on Target.com, so folks can go to Target website and buy the book there, too. So man's doing something right.
Trying. I'm trying.
There you go. That's right. Kind of like a college try indeed. Well, yes, it did. So, my goodness. So, starting writing since the 7th grade, man. So, what do you think inspired that, especially with the poetry aspect on top of that?
Well, I think I found a poetry book when I was a kid, Langston Hughes, and I started reading it. And for some reason, I wanted to mimic him by writing my lifestyle as he wrote his. And I just started right. I would sit down, things came in my head, I put it on paper. I wouldn't show it to anyone. I just put it down until I had a collection. My sister used to see them, nobody else saw them. And it just kept going until a teacher saw it. I wrote when I went in the military, came home, kept writing, but I always kept it to myself.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it's out in the world, or at least part of it indeed. My man said he served in the military. What branch of service and how many years?
Marine Corps, 3.
We got a Marine on the show, baby. My man, 3 years. Thanks a bunch for your 3 years of service.
Okay, thank you.
Ah, yes, indeed. Always got to acknowledge those who serve the U.S. of A. I'm telling you, got to serve them. Got to always appreciate guys like you serving the country because, hey, it takes some guts, especially to be a Marine, no less.
Yeah, it it was never other branch I ever thought about. It was just that.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Simplify. That's right. That's
Do
right.
or die.
Yes, sir, indeed. Yes, sir, indeed. That's right. So we got a veteran and a published author on the show, y'all. I'm telling you. That's what I'm talking about, indeed. That's what I'm talking about, indeed. So picking up writing at a young age and then joining the military, becoming a Marine. Like, what was next for you after that? Because I believe the writing stayed dormant after that, right?
I kept writing. I came home, started working, but I would always write. I mean, I'd write something on a wall if I was standing next to a wall with just a pen in my hand, pencil in my hand. I write stuff and give it away. I write stuff and lose it. Uh, it just when it hit me, I'd get up, wake up in the middle of the night, get it out my head onto a piece of paper. Uh, I never stopped. I just never put it out.
Yeah. So since you gave some away and threw some away, do you still have like a giant stack of them, like skyscrapers hiding in the closet somewhere, waiting to
Eh,
be
They
seen
all
by the
over the
public?
place. They all over the place. My sister has some. There's folders in the house, all around the house. Poems stuck in books. There's pieces of paper stuck in cubby holes. Have them on my phone. I mean, they're all over the place. If I write, I might forget I got it and don't find it for a couple years. Uh, I used to be shocked. My niece used to take my poems to school and turn them in for homework, and then she come back and say she got an A. She got an A on one of my poems, uh, and that was shock.
Man, did she buy you lunch or something afterwards, man? It's good, but it's like, that's my work. Like, come on, sis. Pay back, bro.
So she said she would just look through my drawer and see if she finds something, and she take it to school and turn it in as hers. It never bothered me because I wouldn't have never turned it in because I'm my biggest critic. I wouldn't want anybody, never wanted anybody else to, to critique my work.
Ah, interesting indeed, because it's so darn true. That's what a lot of folks go through, especially those who write. Like, we are indeed, well, not just writing, but with any field. Like, we're always our own biggest critics because we see ourselves the most in a certain light, and others may see us in a different way. And it's like, oh, darn, like, oh, my writing, it might not be good. And then out of nowhere, sis steals your work and uses it to get an A. He's like,
Yeah,
do you
it
feel
was
like
my
they,
niece. Yeah, my niece. Uh, my sister was out of school just about when I was before I got out of school. Got to the seventh grade. It was my niece, her daughter, that was taking it to school. My daughter said she took a couple poems to school. Um, I don't know if I was flattered or just shocked that they thought it was good enough to take to school.
hey, that's a good thing indeed. So, do you feel like that was like the first stepping stone to really get the confidence to publish your first ever book for the kids?
Well, actually, my oldest daughter is expecting a kid, my first grandkid, and that's what made me say, "Let me get this published. I could pass it down to my grandkid." When I wrote it for my daughters 25 years ago, um, but this was my first time thinking about getting it published and looking at it and reading it and having to edit it myself and then allow the publisher to edit it and just trust that they would like it enough to just have my idea when they came with the pictures and the design of the book.
Sounds good indeed. Sounds good indeed. Yeah, so I guess that's probably the main reason because one of the questions I had in my mind as I was listening to you was like, man, my man's writing poetry in the seventh grade and folks were turning it in for A's and A pluses probably. And my man went the route of writing a kid's book instead. So besides the grandchildren, do you think there's any other reason why he may have put out a kid's book first as opposed to a book of poetry? Or a book of poems, I should
But
say?
I had several people ask me to let's put a book of poems out. We like your right. Let me get your books and get your poems and publish them for you. And like I said, my poems I always felt like them was my babies. That was something personal. I didn't. I'm nervous about just putting them out uh, and getting critiqued. There are certain ones. I mean, I started writing at a young age, and I'm a '70s kid, so a lot of my poetry is somewhat militaristic. uh, I grew up doing the movies with Shaft and stuff like that. So Free the Hard Way. So my writing reflects those times. And some people look at it different. Some people look at me like I was an old soul. I was writing like that as at a young age.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's right. Especially the brothers, the chocolate brothers. Like it usually comes with some extra wisdom thanks to the wonderful ancestors indeed. Probably with all the melanin and all the other good genes we got that probably has an influence on that. And with our wonderful family members that we're lucky to be around, we usually have some form of creativity
Definitely.
within us growing up.
Definitely. I'm the youngest of 10. So I grew up listening to Al Green and Sam Cooke, those type of artists. So all of that had to do with part in my writing style. I write better when I'm listening to that type of music. I get into a groove. Gerald asked me to read a poem to him. When I pulled my phone out, he said, "You don't know about heart." And I said, "Well, if I try to read it, when I read it or try to do it by heart, I'm making corrections the whole time I'm reading because, again, I'm my biggest critic, and everything is around that era. I can't say it for word, but I know it when I say. I know them when I say it.
Oh, yeah. So I probably make a great history piece too.
Probably, hopefully, one day. My wife,
Ah.
my wife, and my daughter, my sister used to always argue over who's gonna keep my poems.
Uh, well, that's a good thing. That's a good sign. That's probably more confirmation of you needing to put the work out there. Because the thing is, like, hey, well, a lot of folks don't know you yet. So, hey, might as well use that to your advantage and put it out there and see what folks say. Heck, if you want, some people don't even put the pictures of themselves on their books. So if you're scared of that too, you
Yeah.
don't have to worry about that piece of it. Yes,
Yeah, I'm not.
indeed.
I don't feel I'm very photogenic, so nah, I don't put my pictures out. I have a picture on my website, I think, but mostly everything is just words.
Ah, and what's your website for those listening just to get that out there since you mentioned it?
Website is lifewithlonnie.com. It's leading you to the book, Little Man's Big Day, how to buy the book. It has a bio of me on it. Also, I have a blog page. I had some poems on it I took down because it was a little too militaristic. So I took them down and trying to light myself up a little bit so I could put some web friendly poems on there.
Ah, okay, I got you. I got you. Well, for those who are interested why you listen to this wonderful conversation, if I'm not mistaken, lifewithlonnie.com, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, that's correct.
There we go. Life with Lonnie, baby. That's right. The original LL Cool J, y'all. I'm telling you. That's right.
Triple L's, Lonnie Lesane.
There we go. Triple L, baby. For legendary. Legendary in stereo, baby. Oh, man. Well, being the youngest of 10, my goodness, that's what I'm talking about. Three cheers for those who are the youngest in the family. I'm also the youngest, not of 10, but of 4. So, hey, I'm all for that, and pun intended, I guess, with that one.
I
And
grew up with my niece's babysitter. I used to babysit. I had nephews that I hung with in Baltimore that was my age. Three brothers. I had a nephew, little man that the book that's with me that I wrote about in the book. We grew up like brothers. It's a 3-year difference in our age. So I basically grew up with my nieces and nephews.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And with all this growing up you were doing over the years, you became not only a husband, but also a father of 3. So, any advice for the other fathers out there who want to express themselves creatively, since it seems like you make a lot of time to do that yourself?
Well, uh, I always read to my daughters, not as much to my son. He don't stand in front of me that long, never. And my oldest daughter, she also writes. She draws. My middle child, that's female me, but she don't write. They just well, I feel like they grew up with me. They call me daddy, and we good friends.
Ah, that's what I'm talking about. That's beautiful right there. That's beautiful right there. So, any goals in the future with your future writings, my man? Because you got the first book out. I hear you got another follow-up book to this one.
Yeah, I want to make it like a 3 or 4 book series. I was starting to write what I thought would be an autobiography, and this story came out of that autobiography. So I feel it might be easier for me to write some children's books from when I was a kid through the autobiography than just trying to get it out, because I'm just basically me, and who would want to read about me. That's what I looked in my head, even as I was finishing.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. And if not for the masses, you can always do it for the family if you want. Document some history.
Yeah, I would let them read it as I was going along, and all you hear, you need some help.
Ah, it's all good. It's all good. So that's what I'm talking about. A bunch of books for the kids based off of some of your own life experiences and the poetry. Well, I guess that's G14 classified for the masses, unless something happens.
well, I'm planning on doing something. I just don't. I can. It's hard to get hold of everything I wrote because it's all spread around. It would be me growing up, because you would have me from 7th grade all the way up to now, and though my writing has evolved, uh, it's still along the same
I got you. So, any ideas for maybe any future genres in the future? Anything like a novel or something like that? Or just gonna stick to the poetry and the kids stuff?
line. I wrote a novel when I was in the service. Um, I came home and I gave it to my favorite teacher to read. She didn't read it, but she told me she didn't like it. I didn't know she didn't read it until I burnt it. And that's when she told me I never read it. So I've never been able to get it back on paper. It's
Oh,
in my head. Uh, it's in my head, but every time I go to put it down, I draw a blank.
that's rough. Ouch. Uh, yeah, that could definitely put a damper on 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 progress indeed. Yeah, that can definitely put a damper on progress. Guess you can't just trust anybody and everybody. My goodness, that's rough. So sorry that happened to you, man. That's definitely
That
rough.
was like 84, so she's still my favorite teacher.
Favorite to make fun of now. Let me stop.
I sent her a copy of this book, and she loved it. She's retired now. I haven't seen her in 100 years, but She said she loved the book. Uh, she say she liked it more than she liked the first book. She said she didn't read it because she's a religious woman, and if she saw curse words, so she put it down.
Okay. Well, that explains that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But not sure if it's a good or a bad thing, but folks are a lot more receptive to those nowadays. So you might. So if for some random day it magically appears out of heaven and it gets on to like 100 pages, then well, the world's basically giving you permission to put it out there.
Yeah, I hear it every day.
Yes, sir, indeed. Yes, sir, indeed. Well, we're coming down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive when they're on these podcasts, and that is if you're to wake up tomorrow and you're 25 again, but this time you're in the current year of 2021 with all of your knowledge and experience, what advice would you give to yourself?
Slow down, listen to some of the people, listen to the soft noises around me and not all the loud noises, because that's who I followed when I was younger. The guys that made the noise that I wanted to hear, and not the people that was on the side that really had my back. I passed up a lot of things when I was 25 that I probably would have been a little bit further than I am now, even though I'm not complaining about where I am now. But at 25, yeah, I believe I could have done a lot more.
That's what I'm talking about right there, indeed. That's right, folks. Always pay attention to those voices. The ones that are the softer ones. Sometimes they're just going to steer in the right direction. Help get you further ahead, indeed. That's right. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Solid advice. That's right. So y'all better absorb some of the wisdom a man's been dropping. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, indeed. So for those who want to keep in contact with you and be on the lookout for the upcoming follow-up book to the current book and buy some copies of this one, what's the best way for folks to do so?
It's on for sale on Amazon.com, Barnes and Noble, Target, Exlibris.com. That's the publishing company I went through. I have some on hand that I'm selling through the website. I'll hand deliver or mail. Price is $13. Any support I can get, I very much welcome.
Yeah, well, there you have it, folks. Little man's big day. Make sure you go up and wherever your favorite website, or heck, if you're in the DMV, holla at my man, the legendary Lonnie himself, and get yourself some autographed copies from the man himself. That's right, one day it might be worth something. Who knows? It might be a $3,000 signature. Who knows? It'll be something really valuable indeed. And you're going to be like, I'm so glad I got it from the man himself indeed. So grab some copies of this book, share with your friends, your family, and heck, even share with some kittens too, because little kittens, they have big days too, They may get that one big giant fish one day. You never know. Yes, indeed. Oh man. So any parting words before we close up shop, sir?
No, thank you, Don, for having me. I'm a little more comfortable this time. Really appreciate your time and your patience. Good luck with the podcast, and I hope to make some sales. And I'll work on the book of poetry.
How's it going, my friend? I'm glad you made it to the end. That shows that you really enjoyed what you heard and you are an uncommon finisher. Thanks for giving this show a listen. If you really want to help out the show, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone that you care about or someone that needs to hear this message, because we want to spread this podcast around like butter on bread if that's your type of thing. And if it's not your type of thing, still spread it around anyway, because good stuff needs to be shared with good people like yourself.